After filming at the Brookdale Lodge, we went back to Tim's cabin. Timothy Lowe, absolutely wondrous human being. I know you're watching this, Tim. I don't need to creep or anything. I'm being genuine and sincere. Absolutely fantastic, ex-military, ex-sheriff guy. He's got a heart of gold. He's nobody's fool. But you know what? He let us use his cabin, me and Paddy, when we was actually shooting at the Brookdale. And Joel, before I get into that, very quick shout out to Praveen Patel. Absolutely incredible guy, fantastic guy, very accommodating, very open-minded, very supportive. And I don't know if I got a chance to say thank you to you properly, Praveen, but if I didn't, now I'm going to say thank you. And you know what, the doc, we're still pushing that shit out there, Prav. 2 years delays, 2.5 years delays, but you know what, we're not going to give up. We're going to keep going. Hopefully we can get it aired in the new year. We're not put it out. Getting back to what I was saying, we was at the cabin. One particular night, me and Patty was in there, getting all this energy. Fascinating. The spirit spoke to me. These spirits. We are the ancients. The ancients? Wow. Help us to help you, is what they said. I've actually got that somewhere in, I think Patty was recording it at the time. I'm not sure if I have. I will put that out. It was incredible. There's a lot of behind the scenes footage that's never been seen publicly. Neither was it ever meant to be seen publicly. Whilst we was filming for the documentary, we wasn't there for this reason. As Gunnar would say, it totally went left field. I was interviewing Hank, and you know the hits I get from energy or from spirits. Yup, that happened. Then I asked Becky to help me, and I got hit again. Then I saw, I'm not going to mention the name, I saw a woman being attacked in the back of an American car. I didn't know the era. I didn't know her name at this stage. I didn't know if it was future, past or present. But it knocked the crap out of me, as you'll see in a moment. Then, just when we thought it was all dealt with, we're doing a segment interviewing Hank. And again, this is not scripted. You know, we just fly by the wire, because you know what? It's real. And as long as I draw breath, everything I do will be real, unscripted, and as it happens. And again, she hit me. We had to stop filming. In fact, there's a little jump cut in the actual documentary where we actually resumed filming after we stopped it when I was in the middle of interviewing Hank. Take a look at this. I was arriving in Santa Cruz in the UK to film the Brookdale Lodge documentary. I wasn't sure quite what to expect. What I didn't expect was to find myself embroiled in a serial killer case. These guys, this lady, you know what to say, oh, it targets at certain times, whether it's not so much at that, but it's just times when they're actually able to do that. You know what I mean? When they've got the opportunity to do that, they do that. Yes, because otherwise, why don't you just do it now? It's like, great, we can do it now. I think there's only times when they can do that. Yeah. Over the time I was in Santa Cruz and filming at the Brookdale Lodge, several times I had to stop for filming as a spirit, a female spirit, tried to make a connection. What was that? Yeah. I heard it. Yeah. I wasn't sure who it was, what it was about, or where it was even going. But whatever it was about was obviously important to her. Is that sound attracting down? This particular line of inquiry, this case, the footage you're about to see is just a sample of the many, many occasions I actually made a connection and managed to attain information from this spirit in relation to the case. Becky, there's a lady that's been trying to get in contact, which you may already be aware of. This footage forms no part of the Brookdale Lodge documentary. Can we get initials to the name? At least a start, a first name, a surname. Becky. This is just one example on one occasion when this occurred. I have absolutely no control over when this occurs or how long it lasts, for what period. Can you help me? That's to do with the name. Like someone's not hurting her, but about to. She's in the back of this car. I don't know who it was. I couldn't see her face. I couldn't see what car it was. I can't even see the colour of the car seats. But I saw this girl. I don't know what that is, but you know that's something we need to find out, because we don't know if that's something that's happened or something that might happen. Right. You know, that's really important. When I'm getting this, it means it's relevant. So it's either relevant because it's some information that we need to know about, and something that has happened that we've not got information about and we need to know, or it could be going to happen, in which case we need to know as well. But to do that, we need to get some real serious information on that. In the past, and on more than one occasion, I have already recovered remains based on information from the spirits and my communications.
He didn't say a name, did he?
I thought he said something when he was first going. He said something. We'll have to check back on that, because I swear he said
Really?
something.
I didn't hear a name.
Something.
Do you believe that might have any relevance to the girl who's allegedly died in the pool?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think
Because she's in a car, and if it hasn't happened yet, it needs to be figured out. Maybe, I don't know if it can be, but.
Yeah, how could you figure it out?
He needs more information.
Yeah, we need more information.
Information. And how do you get that from a future event?
Is it a future event?
Could be. Or it could be something that has already happened.
Yeah, or
He doesn't know.
it could be something that happened
He
in the
didn't get
past.
enough information at that point.
Could be. We'll find out, won't we, I
We'll
guess.
find
If you can pick that trail up again, we might get some more information, but yeah.
Yeah.
You've
It's-
witnessed that before, haven't
It's
you?
a mystery.
You've witnessed that before, haven't you, Patty?
Oh, yes.
Yeah? What does that normally mean?
Oh, I don't know, every time is different,
Very true.
you know? It depends on how much information he's getting at the time and when it stops.
You ready?
You okay?
It's my thing.
This is thing.
Where's energy? It's energy.
Right.
Yesterday.
So any interpretations?
It's American. I can tell by the seat it was American. I couldn't tell what the colour of the seat is, but it was literally the size of the seat.
A large
You're talking
vehicle.
about the car.
Was it modern car?
I can't tell you. I don't know. I didn't get that.
Do you believe it has anything to do with where we are? And I don't mean the Brookdale
I don't
Lodge.
know. I don't know.
He doesn't know.
Just asking,
I
just asking.
can't
Just
assume
probing.
anything. I
He
can
doesn't
just
have enough
literally
information.
deliver what I'm getting.
Yeah.
It's relevant because that's why I'm getting it. I mean, the island thing, Ian, you know, there's either a story to be told, something needs to be found out,
Right.
or if it's not happened yet.
Yeah.
If
that
it's not
really-
happened yet, we need to find out.
Spooked me.
Definitely.
How are we getting on? Yeah, we're there. Still back. After my encounters at the Brookdale Lodge with the young lady, the victim, Miss Milosevic. We went back to the cabin. Spirits. Me, Gunnar, and Paddy were just sitting around the campfire. I'll say campfire. It's a little fire. You know, can of beer, smoke. Just talking about the Brookdale. Obviously, the forefront of my mind was what had happened. This was not a planned filming, but we got the night vision camera there. Gunnar got it, so Gunnar put the camera on because I felt an energy. Press record. This victim that approached me at the Brookdale Lodge, she was there with others and approached me at the cabin. She made it clear it wasn't just her. There was another 3 victims. And they said to me, "Come and find us." That's in the clip you're about to see. This was not planned, so the footage is not brilliant. He got out of focus and everything. We were just talking. And in the end, I just said to Gunnar, maybe just switch the camera off now. But you know what? It's important, guys, that you get to see the real me. You get to see what happens behind the scenes. I mean, I've had this footage for 3 years or more. I've not put this, over 3 years, say. I've not put this out.
Right, so Don, sitting outside, you just started to take a couple of recordings.
Yeah, we're just sitting there, a little campfire, and it is a little campfire now. I said, you know what? Do you know what I said earlier? I feel like I'm waiting for something.
Right, you did say that.
I did say that.
Yeah.
Earlier took a recording. Tim's been extremely kind to let us use his cabin in the woods. As you can see, it's absolutely beautiful. We really appreciate that. And he kind of said the spooks there, and this is how it all started. So, okay, the spooks. And he said, we think they're relatives. So earlier we went in there. I took a recording. It says, are you from Brookdale, or are you... They said, we're in the house. Wasn't it, Paddy? We're in the house was the first recording. And then they said, I said, are you from Brookdale, or are you relatives? And they went, relatives. So I told Tim. He was quite happy with that. That's where it started. Then we came out here a couple of hours later. We've just done the news thing a couple of hours ago down at Brookdale. Went into the room, said there's a gentleman here, asked him a question, and his words were, what was his words, guys?
They won't like it?
I don't think the rest of them will like
That's
it. Now, we don't know at the minute whether that's reference to the change that's going on and the local residents, or whether the spirits themselves are not quite happy with all the changes that's taking what's going on.
But that was their response when you put out the question.
Well, that's the response you'll be hearing very shortly.
Oh, wow.
And then you can tell me, you know, if you can hear that word for word.
Right.
You know, but, you know, whether you believe in this or whether you don't, if you go into a room, there's nobody there, you ask a question and you get an answer from nobody there, it's obviously come from somewhere. Put the recorder on. I've got a recording and it said help us. I'll play that first. Help me, that actually says. Now, that's not particularly clear, but the next one is, I literally,
fantastic.
2 minutes ago, I just, says, okay, let's do this, get some batteries in the recorder, says, how can I help you? Well, this is the one that's concerns me, and these are the sort of things I can't ignore. Finder's there, this is very, very clear. That is without doubt Finder's there, because I can hear every word, every letter, everything.
Don, is that a child's voice?
Sorry?
Was that a child's voice?
I don't know at the minute. It's a very soft...
Like a girl's whisper?
Let's do this again.
Wow.
That is absolutely brilliant.
That's amazing.
So, what I said we're going to do now, okay? Casual approach tonight. We're all tired. I was going to go to bed, but hey, you know. I think we should delve a little bit deeper, don't you?
Yep.
Where's that?
Right. Let's talk about something serious. This could be connected to. I don't know at the moment. It started at Brookdale, didn't it?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
When I was getting this information, doing what I do, just hit me like a ton of bricks from nowhere. Nothing could have been any suggestion or anything. We were just walking and talking, weren't we, at the time?
When you made that back corner of the pool room.
Back corner, is that when it first started? I can't actually recall exactly when it started.
Every one of your little blasts, as you call them,
Yeah.
happened in the pool room. And the first night,
It was upstairs.
It actually did.
upstairs.
All of them,
Upstairs
wasn't
was
it?
the
All of
ones
it's in the
where
pool
it
room.
was, it was looking over the pool.
Yeah.
in the maintenance bit.
That's when I first.
You walked into that corner. You had like one of the moments.
And then it stopped.
Then it stopped.
Information. Oh,
Hank came
that's
up.
why it was so quite shocking to me actually.
Yeah.
Hank came
Because
up.
the first thing I saw was a woman not being bundled into in the back of a car. I couldn't see the woman because she'd got what I'm saying is a big guy over the top of her, but so I couldn't see any details of the guy. There was just like a non-detailed figure over her, and I could actually see her blonde hair, and I could see that she was really struggling, and I couldn't see her face because he was over her, but her hair was coming out, and I could see all this going on. So she was obviously struggling. Now the other thing is,
It's an American car.
the other thing is, it was an American car. It's gone.
It's gone.
And then we kind of went away, thought, okay, we need to follow this up because is this past tense, present, or future? That was my concern. So that was the question that we left it with, you know. Now, when I'm doing this kind of thing, I don't ask for information like relating to things like that. I wait for it. And if you're getting that connection, that communication, that's for a reason. That's either because something's happened nobody knows about that, and somebody knows about. It could be a case that's open that needs information, or just I don't know. But then it was upstairs. We was on a separate part as we were about to go into them rooms. I was actually interviewing somebody, wasn't I?
Yes.
That was Hank.
Hank for the documentary.
Hank came up and told the story about his experience in that
experiences.
corner, which was completely separate.
Then I got
from
then I
your
got another
lane.
hit, and that's when it was the actual young woman herself. Okay, I'm Don. Pleased to meet you. Thank you. Can you tell us what happened?
Certainly. A friend of mine and I had some cameras up here, infrared, and we were monitoring it from my motorhome.
Sorry, can we start this again? These lights are too bright, guys. We need to dull that one. I'm going to be like pure glowing white. Right, Ian, have you still got good light? Where's
Yes,
Ian?
mate. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, is that better for you?
Yeah.
It's not
that's
too
good.
bouncy,
Nice
is
contrast.
it?
Yeah. It's all right.
Okay, so we'll start again. Sorry, Hank, you were saying. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Sure. A friend of mine, Brian, and I had some cameras up here, some infrared cameras. We were monitoring the images from the motorhome in the parking lot.
Just general security cameras.
Yeah, no.
Oh,
we were looking for paranormal.
You were
activity.
looking for paranormal.
Absolutely. I have hours and hours of footage in here. But the camera was dead. And so we
Had been answered that she was actually in spirit and she was dead. Now, I'm not going to say this guy's murdered. I don't know what's that relating to. Because up to that point, we thought maybe she might be alive. But that then told us that was the past. It's happened. Unfortunately, she's dead. And we need to find out more because
Remember the car?
Yeah, now
today.
now these things only ever, this used the word targeted at me at certain times. Generally we're on an investigation and it's an appropriate time and place. Today we was on the way to the lodge. This old car went by, didn't it?
Yeah.
We were driving, and a car that was, it was in the 70s, basically. And then all of a sudden, Don went into his thing.
As soon as you saw it.
Yeah, just out of the blue. And suddenly it was like, okay, it was, well,
What happened then basically?
Confirmation done.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. But okay, that was interesting. I wasn't really getting information. You know, I wasn't thinking that's car's involved with
No.
anything like that. It's
question
just
we were
that.
left with what decade, wasn't it?
Well, what it was, then I was just talking generally, wasn't I? After that, I says, yeah, I'm okay. You know, I says, you know, that's an old car like 60s to 70s, and bang.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
And then we went on 70s. So we know that whatever transpired happened. This is in connection with something that happened in the 1970s with a young woman that was in the back of a car with blonde hair who is now dead. That's as far as we've got. That's where they're following up. Okay, so that's the other thing I'm on. We're on at Brookdale on top of everything else, and now we've got these other guys saying find us, which now I just want to go to bed. It's something I can't ignore because, you know, it's a two-way thing. They help me, I help them. That was received loud and clear. I will help you.
If there's one thing that always gets done, it's always a personal story. It's always somebody that needs help. It's one of the ones that always affects them deeply. It's always one of those ones that, I guess, answers are needed. And that happens in a load of different ways. It might be a vocal response on a recorder. It might be what Don calls a blast, where he directly receives information. It might be him mapping a location, spotting something. It could be a dream. It could be a voice directly out the air. It could be a voice directly into Don's head, as it was in Ireland. But it's always a personal story that kind of grips. It's always one of those things that, I guess, pulls on the heartstrings. I know when I go out with him, and I know Mary felt this last night, you feel the need to kind of tell the story, find the answer, I guess. And, yeah, whenever there's a person in need, I guess, you know, if you're a compassionate person, you want to help, don't you? You want to bring that person to wherever they need to be, I suppose. I always find it fascinating. I always find it a little bit sad, actually, as well. I guess tragedy always is, isn't it? You know, it's a very personal, emotive thing, but yeah, it happens in a load of different ways. And those combination of factors, ultimately, what takes him on the journey, I suppose, takes us all on the journey. Everyone that follows him, supports him, tries to help in some way. The difficult thing is it's so hard to do, you know.
You know what, yeah, guys, I go out and I put evidence out and everything, but what I do, it's a lot deeper than that, you know. And at the same time, I guess in my own way, apart from it's very close to my heart, it's still evidence-based as well. I mean, when you get recording like that, there's no doubt what it's saying.
That was crazy.
There's nobody here. I think sometimes people need to take me a little bit more serious than, hey, look, Don's getting voice on digital recorder, because there's stuff I don't even put out on video that you guys don't know about, and I won't for certain reasons for the time being. But you know, this shit's real. This is what I do.
It's not just a disembodied voice out of context, is it?
I use it as a tool for many things. I think maybe just switch the camera off now. This is scrap footage. Footage I wasn't going to bother with, but I thought it is of interest. It is an ongoing case. The case is not yet resolved, and I will be returning back to Santa Cruz to resume my investigations. A lot of work has already been put into this case by Sheriff Tim Morio Porter, Patty Hale, Ian Gunner and myself. I have no doubt we've yet a long way to go. From what I've managed to attain in my communications with the spirits, there are at least another 3 undiscovered people to be found in relation to this case. That's really quite something, isn't it? You know, this is not a new thing with me. This is the stuff I've kept hidden from the public for quite some time. You put your head above the parapet, expect to be shot at. But you know what? That was always what I expected in the early years. But now, I just don't care anymore. Because you know what? It is real. It is truthful. It is honest. It is not my interpretation of something. It is not my head making things up. And my evidence literally speaks for itself. Needless to say, from there we got the initials. I think it was Patty who was actually sitting outside on a break, taking a break, mid-filming. I wanted to go to the loo. I needed a pee, so I headed across the car park. There was a porta cabin from the builders that were still renovating the place. I got halfway. I got another blast. I hit the floor. I'd got a couple of the initials, but not all of them. There was 3 initials and I wasn't sure what the third one was. The middle one. So Patty, who we wasn't even a thing then. Me and Patty wasn't a thing. We'd just been close friends for a long time. Isn't it weird how life can work out? Wow. Anyway, getting back to what I was saying. She was just going through some names. And she happened to mention the name Anne. Then I got another blast. That was the second initial to the name. At the time, I knew it was an American car. You've already heard what I explained I was seeing, feeling, etc. during that connection with this spirit of this murdered girl. Didn't know what car it was. Didn't even have any inclination as to what year it was. I knew it was American because of the size of it, from the inside. It's hard to explain what I see and how I see it. Steve Mara will confirm. For a long time, I've been getting these. How would you call it? Well, let me explain. Going back a long time with Steve, I would say, Steve, I never shared this with anyone, but I get these visions, like just last anywhere from 3 to 5 seconds, and it didn't mean anything. It could be like one of the first ones was a man and a woman in a kitchen randomly talking about something. Lasted about 3 seconds, and it's almost like it's like a kind of semi-transparent overlay. I could be driving my car and like 3, 2, 1, bang, and it's gone again. And I mentioned this to Steve. Documented this. Again, this is something I've always kept from the public. But you know what? I know I'm quite a hard pill to swallow for some people, but there's an exception to every rule. And every now and again, something comes along which totally shakes things up and is real, even though it's unprecedented and maybe even unheard of before, apart from in the movies. Since then, and the one time actually I was at my mother's, and me and Patty were just going to the store. I'm going to get back on track in a second. Me and Patty were just going to the store. My mother's very old, very ill, very frail. So now I moved in with my mother. And we were just going to the store. And we're driving up the road. And I got one of these 3-second things. It says, oh my God, I just seen a big bird getting hit by a car on the side. I actually saw it getting hit, bang, you know. And I said it was a big bird. Didn't make any sense whatsoever. Because we don't have big birds in the UK. We went to the store. We came back. On the way back, on the opposite corner to which we just left, we saw a freshly killed pheasant laying at the side of the road. and it was pristine. It had just happened. Wow. I looked at it, I said, in fact, we were driving by and I stopped. Oh my God, that's what I saw, that's the big bird. I didn't see it clear as a pheasant, but I knew it was a big bird, and I even told Patty the colours beforehand. So that's an example of these little flashes that I get, which I know is Hollywood, but in this particular case, this is what happened. This is what's happening to me. I'm going through some kind of transformation with these guys. Periodically, I've been getting stronger and stronger and stronger. When I had my team years ago, 10 years ago, whatever, in the UK, my communications with the guys was never a problem, pretty much like it is now. But since then, things have spiraled and I've got stronger and stronger. Particularly since I've been getting this energy and things via portals and Becky and what happened to the Tubby Castle. Shortly thereafter, the portal opened, and again I absorbed the energy. To such an extent I needed to release it quick. I told Steve, grab the rods. It was too much energy all at once. I needed to get rid of it. I'm being endowed with this energy. I feel extremely strong. That's what's happening now in this clip.
I'm just fucking so pumped, I felt like I lifted a car off.
Oh, jeez.
In fact, I'll be honest. You know what? I'm sharing stuff publicly now. And I don't care anymore. You can have a pop at me, skeptics. Well, let's not say skeptics, because skeptics are important in our work. Cynics, disbelievers, that's up to them. So it was about a week ago, 5-6 days ago, I came in here. I said to the guys, we've got people watching us. Yes, what I do is great, it's incredible, the healing with the animals, which is beyond doubt, if you've seen them clips. If not, check out the clips on this channel, the healing videos. My communications with you guys, unprecedented. Every single time I hit that button, they're there. I'm being honest, I told them I need strength. I need more strength. I need more power. I need to be more effective. And we don't want to make a ripple, we want to make a goddamn splash, because without that, nothing's going to change. We need as much attention we can get to get the message out, to get the respect these guys deserve, the credibility these guys deserve, and to shake science up a little. So I asked for more power, more strength. Didn't know how it would come. Didn't know even what I was asking for, what it meant. As I've explained before, as you see in the Tubby Castle thing, when I get this strength, this power, this blast, I feel like I can lift a car up. I feel invincible. It's a drug. It's absolutely incredible. You've never felt anything like it, and I really wish I could share it with you, because I will guarantee you feel inhuman, you feel strong, you feel, it's indescribable almost. So to cut a long story short, I asked for more power. 4 or 5 days ago, I was in the yard, and I think this was the following day, and I got this blast. If we took the Tubby Castle situation and times that by 5, it was that intense and that strong. I had to hold onto the decking with both hands as tight as I could, because to stop myself going to my knees. That's how strong this was. I didn't have my recorders with me at the time. Patty was frightened, nervous. She took the dog, shut inside, closed the patio doors because she didn't know what was happening. She said my face looked totally different, twice the size it should be, and everything else. But you know what? things of this nature are not normal for a human body to endure. So it's going to have some effect. I took a recording on my phone, which I will share with you now. And I'm being really brave here sharing this with you guys, because again, normally this would not be public. I said, what the hell just happened? What was that about? The guy says, power. You have the power. Take a listen to this. The power, you have the power. So I don't know what that entails right now. And I don't care, because I want to be strong and powerful as I can be for the better good. If it's going to accelerate or make healing even better, absolutely fine. If it's going to give me any other attributes, absolutely fine. I would take this as far as is possible. Like I said, I'm being brave right now, sharing this sort of stuff. This is not a case of, hey, look at me, look at me, look at me. This is a case of what is actually possible within the realms of humanity and spirituality. What can be achieved when you've worked years to gain the trust of these guys. You've got a mutual respect. Very great guy, Brian Allen, on the Paranormal Debate 2016. If you've not seen that, check it out, it's on this channel. He said, we don't know what Becky is. He's basically saying, could she be a demon? Could she be this? Could she be that? I'd answer that with another question. When Moses came down from the mountain and God spoke to him, who's to say it was God? You know, the world of the paranormal and supernatural is incredible. I live it, I breathe it, it is me. Like I said before, it's ironic, I spent so many years researching, investigating the paranormal and supernatural. Over that time, I'm pretty much actually that myself. An unsolved mystery, if you like. But you know what, it is real. And if me and Becky can utilise whatever forces we can for the betterment of humanity, healing people or doing whatever, I'm down for that. There is so much goddamn imbalance in this world. It's incredible. You know, I pass every day. There's a place down the road, there's 25, 30 homeless people there. 21st century homeless people. Homeless people with diabetes and all sorts, they can't get the medication. What are we actually doing? What have we actually learnt in the history of this planet and mankind? Do you know what we've learnt? Two things. We've learnt how to put money above people, and we've learnt how to kill each other more effectively in greater numbers. Anybody else got a problem with that? You know, I'd say nothing that drives me crazy. There's this misconception, and you know what, not all spirits are really good. You know, there is some really bad stuff out there that I've dealt with and can deal with. And then there's a kind of, let's call them mediocre, a little bit mischievous. But you know this misconception, they lie and cheat. And you know, they just lie and cheat you and everything all the time. And do you know what, guys, I'm calling bullshit on that. I've been around long enough and dealt with enough of these guys, both good, bad and indifferent, to know that that is bullshit to a degree. When it comes to spirits or people, in my lifetime, which is now approaching nearly 57 years, oh jeez, do you know the most dishonest, calculating, deceptive beings I've ever come across? That would be people. And I'm sure pretty much most of you would agree. So, you know what? I speak to spirits. I've spoken to demons. Yeah, sorry, I use the word demons. This is so you know what I'm talking about. I don't use that classification. Good, bad, and indifferent. Let's call them indifferent for now. But you know, it begs a question. I once spoke to a demon and said, "So, where did you come from?" We are born of energy. Fascinating answer. We are born of energy. Doesn't tell me a lot, but it tells me something. And then, you know, you got to think. This is a conscious being. I'm not defending demonic activity or anything, but this is a conscious being. And if they are created that way or born that way of energy through whatever happens, they get a choice. They don't get a choice. That is how they are made. So that begs a very interesting question. How responsible are they for the way they think, the way they act? They don't get a choice. That's the way they are made. Why are they made that way? Another one of them 1,000,001 questions. Then that begs another question. I was actually thinking the other day. Lucifer, fallen angel, most beautiful of all the angels. Okay. Society, religion's got hold of it, and all of a sudden he's got a fork and horns on his head and all this shit. But you know what? The most beautiful of all the angels went against God. This is God. As in the scriptures, God created everything. The solar system, the planet, Adam and Eve, just the creator. The most powerful force ever. He also created Lucifer. Now, playing devil's advocate, pardon the pun, if God and Lucifer were so adverse to each other, and the scriptures are absolutely correct, this is God. This is the most powerful entity in the history of history itself. Why would he allow Lucifer to exist? Couldn't he just go, or whatever, make the world a better place? And do you know what it bears thinking about? It's just another one of them questions, isn't it? And then some people would say, well, yeah, but God left him there, so people have got a choice. A choice? Why would God want people to have a choice? If they knew nothing better than good, that is for the good of humanity, for the good of the planet, for the good of everything. Why leave something there to poison that? And almost entrap people if they had a choice. Again, interesting question. Do you know, there'll be people out there that say, fuck, that Don Phillips, he's an idiot, he's delusional. My work, contrary to that, would put a pretty strong argument up against that. Again, I'm being honest. You guys have no idea of the strength I've got with my union with Becky and what that actually enables us to do when it comes to dealing with bad things. Utilising what we have, what we do together, and what I did at the tree. When I was there with Steve Marra, people that are following me and Steve properly will already know the situation at the tree. You can levitate up, 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 kneel before us, Beelzebub wants you. In fact, I've still got that recording, which I'm going to play at some point. Beelzebub wants you. Patty was in the car. I told her to stay there because I was worried about her safety, because I didn't know what I was actually getting into at the time. She was in tears when I got back to the car, because when she was in the car and I was doing what I was doing, and her car must have been at least, 30 feet away from this tree, 40 feet, 50 feet. The pens in the console and in a console started doing this and shaking and rattling around. It freaked her the hell out. That was Paddy's first introduction to me.
Okay, let's talk about this tree. Patty's favorite, and then I want to show a clip of Four Guys, which includes Steve Merritt talking about this whole thing and how Don reacted to the situation. So let me come to you then, Patty. What happened with this tree? What is it about this tree that's so intriguing?
Well,
Big question, huh?
yeah, it's a big question because it kind of goes into how Don got to the tree in the first place. It's down the road from my house. It's in, Snohomish, and it's a very old place. It's right. The tree is right next to an old mortuary, an old mortuary, and right next to these headstones, Native American headstones, very small. But him and Steve met there with a Native American lady just to talk about the history, blah, blah, blah. Well, this tree happened to be there, and he was drawn to the tree with all this energy. So later that day, he said, do you mind if we go out tonight and see what that energy was all about? And I said, sure. And yeah, that's the first time I had ever seen anything or heard anything like that in my life. I don't know, Don, what you want me to tell about it, because some of it sounds
we just do the Don and Paddy thing, and we just be honest. At the end of the day, my experience will be different to your experience. You may interpret different thing to what I interpreted at the time.
That's true. Mm-hmm.
So
that would be true.
You just say whatever you want to say, Patty.
Well, there was some undesirables there.
That's a good word.
And basically, me and Steve were filming Don walk around there, and I've never felt this in my life. This is my first paranormal experience, really, like that. And me and Steve got so cold, and it wasn't a cold night, from the inside out, that Steve couldn't even hold the camera. And like, what is going on? And then Don was, getting these wild AVPs on his recorder, and basically something in the past had happened there that was bad, really bad.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically had to get those undesirables to go away, and I ended up being stuck in the car. Because
and you experienced something, didn't you, in the car?
Yes, because Don says, you're staying in the car. I'm like, great. So I was in the car, and I had a console, and all of a sudden the tree in front of me, all the leaves are moving, and my pens were going like crazy on the console. And I'm going, okay, I'm stuck in the car. I can see what he's doing, but I would rather be out there than in my car with my car.
Because you thought you were going to be safe.
Yeah, I know. So I was saying all these prayers I learned when I was Catholic, and then I'd forget it halfway through. Same, my Father and, Hail Mary. I was like, I couldn't even figure.
Well, let's listen to this video discussion that Steve Merritt is talking about this tree. So let me play the first one here.
Miles away from the house, and it's an old, basically it's a spooky old looking tree in the middle of nowhere, next to a graveyard, and also right up next to an old wooden cabin. Now at that moment in time, we didn't know what that cabin was. Turned out it was actually a mortuary. It wasn't being used anymore, but it was a mortuary. And this is when things started to take a bit of a twist, because by all intents and purposes, I can only consider that what was going on at this particular location was what you might refer to as something like demonic activity. And suddenly, I'm with Don, and I'm confused about this. I'm thinking, what's this got to do with the investigation at this house in Seattle? Why we're here? And I'm asking Don these questions. Why are we going suddenly to this place, Don? And all he would say to me is that, well, Becky wants me to go there. I need to go back there. And I said, well, why? I don't know until I get there. And this is what I was getting. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to go along, I'm going to document it and find out what's going on, trying to figure it out. And of course, once we get there, suddenly there's this sudden onslaught. We look and see an instant change in Don from his persona completely changed into frantic, in battle mode. In fact, it's freezing. And of all this is happening, And suddenly Don's looking over me, and I said to Don, this isn't really my forte, to be honest with you. And I'm thinking, hang on, what we get myself into here, as you can well imagine. So I'm looking over at Don, and I've got this kind of bit of a worried look on my face, and I'm starting, I mean, he's not realising, but I'm actually starting to slowly edge back. You know, I mean, okay, I'm already 20 foot away, but these voices were so loud I could hear them from here. From what I can read between what's going on here, is that some battle's taking place between Becky and Don. It's as if Becky is utilising Don to help, you know, rid these demonic entities.
Well, she's using his physical body.
She's using his physical body somehow. Or
and Don's happy with the relationship.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like he's intrinsically knows what to do.
Wow. Would you agree with that, Don? There was some kind of war going on between you and Becky, and
I won't. No, not between me and Becky. Me and Becky was engaged in doing some stuff that we do. And again, none of this was supposed to be public, and Steve was not supposed to be there, and neither was Paddy, and I didn't know this was going to happen. But the problem is, I went on Becky's request, didn't know why. That's what happened. So Steve and Patty got to be witness to that, which is made me uncomfortable. There's a lot more to that, but you know what? Conscious that Steve was recording it, I said, cut the camera, because it wasn't for the public. That in some ways makes this, like I said before, and I apply the same rules to me as everybody else, a story. In the Paranormal Debate 2016, there is some footage on there before I said cut the camera. Nevertheless, that's what happened. And I will now share with you one of the things. You know, when I come back to the car and Steve says, and then he came back to the car, he nearly hit the floor and he went back for a second round.
Screaming at him, saying, kneel before us, you know, Beelzebub wants you, and all these sort of things. And I'm thinking, whoa, what the hell is going on here? You know, and I'm taking into consideration, you know, I'm thinking, whoa, you know, I'm taking a few steps back at this time, because I'm thinking, hang on, is this, we could be under spiritual attack here. You know, I don't know what I've got myself into. Next minute, I hear him talking with Becky, and Becky says, you know, Becky's sort of, I don't know, it would seem that...
For the recording,
it would seem that he's siding with Becky and they're doing something together. Next minute, Don's sort of got his hands like this, and they're out, and he's like, he's as if like he's forcing some energy at this tree, you know, and honestly, you know, he looks like he was gonna, you know, collapse. And in fact, halfway through, he comes over towards, because by this time I'm heading off towards the car. You know, I'm out of there.
See you, Don.
Exactly.
So Becky, I'm so sorry I couldn't make the date.
So basically, halfway through, he comes over to the car, right, puffing and panting. In fact, he struggled to actually open the door. He's like kneeling down outside as if he's like completely zapped. He gets in the car, he's puffing and panting. And he hasn't resolved it this time. And I'm trying to talk to Don and say, what's going on, Don? What's going on? And he's not telling me much. But basically, he's like halfway through the battle.
But does he know?
Well, yeah, because basically what he does is he kind of gathers himself again. He gets out the car, slams the door, because he's pumped with adrenaline again. And off he goes for round 2. So I thought, okay, let's see what else we can get a bit on video. And of course, they're screaming at me again, we can levitate you. We want your power and all this. So
are they offering something?
This is it's like come to us. They want him. Now I don't know if they want him to kill himself and go with them in a spiritual sense or what. I just don't know. I've just not got the answers.
I'll tell you why. The flashes I was talking about, 3, 5, 4, 3, generally 3, 2 or 1 seconds. I saw an infant. I'm not going to go into detail. I saw an infant being sacrificed to that tree. That's what pissed me off. That's why I went back so quick without hardly having a break. That's what got my adrenaline really up. That's when me and Becky did what we did to great effect, and everything stopped instantly. No voices, no nothing. Steve didn't know what was going on. And Steve himself said at one point, he said to me, Don, you can levitate up, any more of this, I'm out of here, because this is not my forte, this is not paranormal, this is supernatural. Supernatural is my backyard as well, and has been for some time, unknown to the public. There's some real stuff out there. It is rare, a lot rarer than what you'll see on YouTube, obviously. But it's there. As far as I'm aware, I can deal with anything, and I mean anything. I've got no reason to think otherwise. I trust Becky. I know how I feel myself. I know my understanding on this matter subjects. And the other thing that I've just mentioned very quickly, do you know what? Spirits, poltergeists. No. There are, to my knowledge, my knowledge is not complete. I don't know everything. I know enough, which is a lot compared with a lot of people. Enough for me to protect myself and know what I'm dealing with and how to deal with it. To my knowledge, there's maybe 6 different kinds of spirits. When it comes to the bad stuff, God only knows. Literally, God only knows. But I'll tell you something else, and I mentioned this to Steve a long time ago. There's also very small things which are not spirits, which we can't see, which are physical. Wow. That's a really big pill to swallow. Things we can't see, which are physical. I've shared an awful lot this evening, probably more than I should. But I'm at that point, guys. Unless you make change, change is never going to happen. But like I said, this channel now is the time for truth. It's the time for transparency as much as possible. And that's why I'm sharing this with you now. My flashes or whatever are like something straight out of a movie. But now, they're of value. My interactions with the dear departed, when they choose, they're real. They knock the crap out of me. I am getting stronger in what I'm doing all the time. And the other day was crazy with Paddy, like I explained previously. I still don't know to what extent you have the power means, but I guess I will when I carry on doing what I'm doing with the healing or whatever. I don't know. I have changed over the last 10, 12 years in me, but I can assure you, as Becky said, it is for the better good.